Hey guys, Tactical here. Today I'm going to talk about food for bug out bags. I had a couple of conversations recently about this, and I actually used a lot of the food out of my bug out bag recently. It's going to spur the conversation. But I actually have kind of a list of criteria that I look for, and one of the questions I got asked recently was about what I put that I don't have problems with. And a lot of people go with a Snickers bar, which I hate for a bug out bag, and I'll get into why in a few minutes. But first, kind of my criteria that I have first on my list is no refrigeration, obviously, because this is gonna go in your bag, go in your car, wherever. Second off, I prefer not to have something that requires any type of cooking. I'll talk about the Mountain House stuff and where I think it applies and stuff like that at the end of the video, but I'll come back to that one. Shelf life is always a big thing for me. I don't want to have to be cycling through this every 2 or 3 months. So taking shelf life into consideration is a big one. I really like to get up to a year and then use it, every 6 to 8 months or something like that. Melting, mold, mildew. A lot of your homemade stuff like biltong, homemade beef jerky, you can have problems with that. I've had problems with that. I went to pull something out of my bag and it's got mold on it, or I actually went camping one time and I had a bunch of biltong in a Ziploc bag, and I pulled my biltong out of the bag and it was completely covered in ants. With packaging like this, you don't really have that problem. So there's that aspect. And then small packaging. I prefer something this size to something this size, because if I open this up, I'll probably eat the whole thing. If I open this up, I might or might not eat the whole thing, and if I just zip the bag back up, it's gonna dry out, and I prefer single packaging. Second to last thing on my list is kids. So everybody's probably been in a situation, even me, not having any kids of my own. I've got nieces and nephews and friends with kids and all that, and you've got the kid that's like, I'm hungry. Or you're in the car and they're like, are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Here's some beef jerky, eat that. It's kind of hard to ask if we're there yet if you chew on a piece of beef jerky. So having stuff that is kid friendly. And I know some kids can't have peanuts, but kids that can have peanuts, honey roasted peanuts, I've never met a kid that wouldn't eat honey roasted peanuts unless they just can't have nuts. Same thing with beef jerky. I've never met a kid that wouldn't eat beef jerky. And then the last thing on my list is calories. I always hear every prepper forum video, anything you go to, everybody talks about calories, 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 calories. Shut up. If you're burning a lot of calories, you need protein. I never hear anybody talk about protein. Protein is what your body uses to rebuild your muscles. If you're expending a lot of calories, your muscles are probably going to need to rebuild. So I have a couple of different examples here. The Snickers bar that everybody seems to go to, it's got 250 calories, but it's only got 4 grams of protein. Whereas if you take these 2 packs of nuts, I think one of them, this one's 220 calories, 8 grams of protein, and this one's 230 calories and 8 grams of protein. So a little bit less on the calories, but 4 times as much protein. You look at the small bag of beef jerky and you only have 110 calories, but you got 14 grams of protein. This one is, this is 3 servings, 70 calories a piece, so that's 210 calories. 7 grams of protein, or no, that's sugar, 10 grams of protein, so that's 300 or 30, no, I can't count right now, that's 30 grams of protein as compared to 2. So that's kind of my last consideration when it comes to what I put in my bug out bags. And like I said, I'm saving this guy for the end. I do find uses for stuff like Mountain House and Weiss Food and any of the rest of these. You can rehydrate these without heating water, but it's not going to be anywhere near as good. The place that I really do find these useful is like in my office at work. I have one of those little electric kettles that boils like a bottle of water in like a minute. And you can dump that in here, give it like 10-15 minutes depending on your climate and elevation and all that, and it'll rehydrate and it'll be pretty decent. So if you have a situation where you can reheat water, or if you're just in a pinch, you know, those can come in handy. So that's kind of where I see these fitting in. I usually will, like if I've got a bag that stays in my truck or something like that, I'll throw one of these in there. But, you know, that is what it is. It's always situationally dependent with that one. But anyway, check out my tip of the week video coming next week, because I'm going to talk about another little hack with beef jerky if you do have a way to heat up water. But till then, bye.